Well, I'm back on Tom Sawyer Island, and I wanted to make a quick little video about some accessories you might want to have with you if you want to do long exposure photography in the Disney parks. Long exposure right now I think means more than like a 1 second exposure, because so many cameras now, between the in-body stabilization they have, the digital image stabilization that a lot of cameras have, image stabilization built into the lenses. If you want to do exposures up to 1 second and sometimes even a little bit more, you can do that handheld, or you can do that just by, bracing your camera very carefully in your hands, and you don't need a lot of extra equipment. But if you want to do something longer, if you want to shoot composite long exposure images of fireworks, if you want to shoot exposures long enough where people moving through the scene kind of turn transparent and ghosty and blur out of the image, if you want to shoot time lapses, if you want to try to do astrophotography in the Disney park, I've never tried it, but it sounds like fun. These are some of the accessories you're going to probably want to bring with you to give you a little bit of extra chance of success. So in addition to the camera, you're going to want to have some kind of a base plate on your camera for mounting it to some kind of camera support. I also bring an L bracket. This attaches to the side of the camera, and it allows me to mount the camera horizontally or vertically to an Arca compatible clamp system. The type of support system you bring is up to you. I bring different ones each trip. I try different things. Right now, today, I have the PGY-TECH Mantis Pod Pro. It's a little folding tripod that also has a little bit of a kind of a clamping, hooky suspension style and an Arca compatible head. But you bring what works for you. The next thing I want to bring is a remote release. This plugs into the camera, and I can trigger it with the button here on the remote release. That way I don't have to touch the shutter button on my camera, which can impart motion into the camera, and it can cause the camera to shake and to move, and that can cause motion blur, it can cause light trails, it can cause a lot of problems in your long exposure image. So if you're going to take all that time and effort to lock your camera off and make it very stable while it's shooting, take the step to use a remote release. You could also use the self-timer built into your camera. A lot of cameras now can also attach to your phone, and you can use a wireless app in your phone to trigger the camera. I still like this. It's fast, it's easy, it's foolproof, and it's old school. So I still like this. The next thing you're going to want to bring is at least one spare battery. When you're leaving your shutter open for longer amounts of time, especially with mirrorless cameras, it's going to eat up your battery a little bit faster. So even if you don't think you're going to need it, I always try to carry a spare battery. Or if your camera is USB rechargeable, bring a power bank and a USB cable. The next thing I want to bring are a couple of filters. With long exposures, I'm usually getting a little more fussy about my composition. I'm really starting to analyze the detail of everything in the composition. And so, two filters that I carry a circular polarizing filter. This screws onto your camera, and then it rotates. And what this allows you to do is cut down on reflections. And so if you are shooting through glass, if you are shooting near water, if it's been rainy or misty, and the leaves and bushes and trees are wet, this can help cut down the glare. It will saturate the colors in your image. It'll make everything feel a little more contrasty. It makes everything just look a little richer, a little more polished, a little more professional, a little cleaner. So I always have one in my bag in case I need to shoot near shiny things. The other one I bring is a neutral density filter. I have a variable neutral density filter because I don't like to carry a lot of equipment. So I can screw this onto my camera, and this cuts down the amount of light coming into my camera, anywhere from 2 to 6 stops of light. Let's see if you can see. Yeah, you can see me through it as I turn it. Now you can't see me through it. So this can cut down the amount of light coming into the camera by something like 32 times. This again is great for long exposures during the day. If I want to blur motion, that means I need to leave my shutter open for a longer period of time. But even if I close my aperture down all the way, even if I set my ISO as low as it can go, there still might be too much light coming into my lens, and it might blow the image out. I might ruin my highlights. So this is just another tool for further reducing the amount of light coming into your camera. I don't always use it, but when I need it, I really, really need it. If you do videography with your camera and you want to maintain that 180-degree shutter speed rule, a neutral density filter, a variable neutral density filter, can also really, really help you. You could also bring individual filters at 2x, a 4x, an 8x, a 16, a 32. I like to just bring the one variable. I use it so seldom. I'm willing to take the hit in image quality in exchange for something a little easier to carry. And then the last thing I bring, again, with a long exposure, is I'm really starting to fuss over every detail in my image. I'm usually doing these at night or in low light, and so if your lens is dirty, any light source coming through your lens has a higher likelihood of ruining your image if your lens isn't clean. So bring a cleaning cloth, bring a couple of them, and always make sure your optics are clean. If you're using a protective UV filter on your lens, you might want to consider taking it off, cleaning both sides of it, cleaning the lens underneath, and then putting that filter back on, because any light coming into that lens, if it hits any dirt, any smudges, any dust, any fingerprints, any lint on that optic, it's going to really, really show up in a long exposure. So those are the just the real basic pieces. You don't need much. This is like 5 extra pieces to bring. I mean, this all fits in a cargo pocket. It'll fit in a jacket pocket. It'll fit in a tiny little bag. It'll fit in one little side pouch of a larger bag. I keep it all kind of right here in this bag, so it's easy to reach if I need it and when I need it. And that's pretty much it. That is my long exposure kit for Disney parks and for pretty much anywhere else. If I'm thinking of that I might want to do a longer exposure than a handheld shot, these are the items that I bring. That's it. Short, easy, quick video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.